Hi, hello, welcome to my channel, welcome back, and welcome to another horse shopping video, specifically the very exciting Black Forest horse. I think their English name is shopping video, because it's there's someone riding it right through me. I did not find the best place to park. The Black Forest horse release date is today. And I've seen a little bit about them in game. I've been dog sitting today for Bella, just over the day. So I was at her house hanging out with one of her dogs, the one I was dog sitting, and yeah, it's been pouring rain like all day. So we did pretty long walks still, but we didn't take as many walks as we do when it's good weather because neither me nor the dog wanted to be out in this weather. Was that in game or was that my throat made that weird sound? I don't even know. But yeah, so I had a lot of time to play today on my laptop, which I brought with me. While I had a dog curled up next to me. It was very cozy. But so I've seen them run around in game, and I did have a quick peek together with Bella when she got back home. But I haven't checked out them properly, and I haven't bought one, and I'm very excited to buy one. So, let's get to that part. I am riding an worker because I've seen a lot of people say that these horses are very similar, and obviously you won't be able to show them side by side just on my own out while moving, but I don't agree more than that they're both like draft horses. So yeah, no, but I love chunky horses. Like, this is my type of horse, and they're so cute. Look at them, just look at them. Like the flowing manes and the little chunky. If we change the mane to something a bit shorter, like the little braids, like they're really muscular and like big and they're big just sheer size and mass, not in a like overweight way. Like, they're built, they're robust. I like draft horses. If you don't know, maybe this is your first video with me, sorry about the chaos and the tiredness. I woke up very early today and also didn't sleep well last night, so I'm all over the place, but I cannot wait till tomorrow to buy one of these horses. They're amazing. But my family has horses in real life. We have Shetland ponies and then North Swedish draft horses. So while I am not well versed in other draft breeds, I have a lot of first-hand experience with North Swedish horses and have had since I was quite young. So I really like draft horses, and majority of my riding experience have been on draft horses, especially like in the last years. Ever since, like, when I was a little kid, obviously I rode the Shetland ponies, or my Shetland pony. We only had one back then. But yeah, so I ride draft horses, which I did talk about last year when I bought Vanilla Latte here. My Norker. Oh, it's so packed here. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go over here. So yeah, I did talk about like with the movements then, like it is a draft movement, and I really like it because it's the one I'm most used to, and I do have a great love of draft horses. They're chunky, they're strong, they're kind usually. Like, most horses are kind, but they're usually pretty calm, in my experience, and they're just big and cuddly with long flowy manes. And this is obviously a draft breed, just like the Norker is a draft breed I hadn't heard of before. Like other draft breeds I had heard of, like the Shire or like the Ardennes, or Ardennes. I don't know actually how you say it in English. I keep forgetting, but I love myself a good draft horse. Obviously, this is a draft horse without feathering, just like the Norker. And I did see someone on Instagram say that the Norker and the Black Forest horse are closely related. So on top of the fact that they're both horses and they're both a little bit heavier horses, which is obviously gonna mean that they move in the way a heavier horse moves. Duh. They're also related, so like they could be quite similar. In the same way, a lot of warm-blooded breeds, like in real life, I will struggle to tell horse breeds apart unless you tell me, like unless they have something very, very clear. Like I can usually tell, like if a horse is like an Arabian Thoroughbred, it's a little bit easier to see because of the very distinct head shape. But when it comes to like a Swedish warm blood or a Belgian warm blood, I can't tell the difference by just looking at the horse. I'm not that, especially with warm blooded breeds. Like I'm not super well versed. So like horses will look similar to each other, even when they're different breeds. And if you don't understand that, then I don't know. Maybe you never thought about it before, but like I feel like anyone who has interacted with horses in real life is gonna understand that. Maybe, I don't know. Keeping in mind, my perspective is gonna be skewed, because I grew up on a horse farm. There hasn't been a day in my life where I haven't been surrounded by horses. My mom literally put me on a horse before I knew how to walk. That's how long horses have been in my life. And like when I was really little, my mom had her Swedish warm bloods, and we also had my sister's Scotland pony, and then my mom's friends had some of my mom's friends had their horses at our stable. But now we own our horses, and we have 2 Shetland ponies and 2 North Swedish draft horses. Which means that they're North Swedish horses of the draft variety. They're also like lighter North Swedish horses that have been bred to be lighter and to be race horses, to be like cold-blooded like race horses. So they are less heavy. They're still like a heavier breed than the warm bloods, but they're lighter than. We distinguish between like the North Swedish trotter and the North Swedish draft, and we have the specific North Swedish draft that's a little bit heavier. FY, we're just looking at all the colors. I'm not even saying a thing, but they're so pretty. Let's look at the animation. So we have a little walk, and like it's just a little nice walk. It's just moving, bobbing along. Let's put on. We can do the roach mane for now. I'm not gonna stick with that, but just look at the movements and see the horse. Like, this is a nice walk. I'm not an expert though, but I think it's a nice one. And the same, like, this is a draft trot. It's a really good one. It has a good like tempo, I would say. Keep in mind, I'm tired. I'm losing my English vocabulary by the second, I feel like. So if things are confusing, it's probably because I'm tired. And English is not my first language. But, it's a really nice, like, tempo of it. And it's, like, it isn't super fancy. It doesn't have, like, doesn't lift the legs super high like some other horses in the game does that are like the warm bloods. They're more like the dressage ones. So like it's a good work trot. It feels realistic for a horse of this type and size. This is kind of how it feels like when I look at our horses, if they were to like trot, like when I ride them, or when my mom would ride them, or we're just lunging them and we're looking at their movements. Like this would be a really good one. Just moving, and it's a believable, realistic, and really good looking trot for this model of horse. And yeah, like I'm trying to get at so many people's like, oh, it's copied from a Nordic, or it's I don't have time to get into it. Like, does like copying animation, is that a thing that overall in the game dev world exists? Yes, but the way Star Stable is built, both because it is not a super new game. It's a game made by a smaller company. It was done pretty small scale originally. Didn't have a lot of future proofing put into their original coding, which has caused problems with their updating stuff in the future, which is now in the past, like things that have already been done that they talked about in blog posts. There was like, they talked about the back end stuff they were fixing with, like, they talked about how that spaghetti code, it was like a year or something ago on the blog post with the programmers for stuff to make the game run smoother. It doesn't actually change and to make updates easier, but it wasn't actually changing gaming experiences for us. It wasn't adding new stuff, but it was making, clearing up old messes. So obviously future proofing wasn't a lot of like stuff thought at the forefront when the game was originally developed, and that's a big thing in game dev. If you aren't putting everything in the beginning for the possibility of adding something later, then it's gonna be like twice, thrice, 4 times as hard to actually implement it later on if you haven't originally planned for the possibility of that becoming a thing. And obviously with games that are over a decade old like Star Stable, that can be really hard, especially when originally it was such a small team. So what I'm getting at is that the Star Stable is not a game at a scope where animation copying from one rig to another is cost efficient. The fact that this is going to be such a long rant, but if we put the Norker and the Black Forest horse next to each other, you can tell that the Norker is bigger than the Black Forest horse. This means they cannot have the same rig, and I know this because all horses in Star Stable have all the different breeds, different models. Then, because every breed has their own model, has to have its own rig. And what is a rig, you ask? I've talked about this before, but if this is your first video of mine. Also, actually, fun fact, if this is your first video, I should probably mention this. I have studied game dev. So, I'm not here to try to lecture you like, oh, you should know this. But it's more of like, I'm very passionate about this. I have spent years of my life studying this, and I went to university for it. And I'm very, very passionate about it, and there's so many things I didn't think about before I started game dev, of like how things worked that I didn't understand, and now I do because I've studied it, and I'm still not an expert. I still don't know everything, but I know a lot more than I used to. And since these horses, you can see they're different sizes and shapes, it means that they have to have, in this case Star Stable, different rigs. And a rig is like the skeleton of a model. If you want a model to be able to move, you need to animate it, and to animate it you need a rig, and that's kind of the skeleton. And since these horses are different sizes, it's impossible for them to share a rig in Star Stable because it doesn't have the type of technology. It's probably possible. I'm not an animator. I did dabble in the shallow end of 3D animation in high school, and it was super hard, so I have crazy respect for animators, because it was one of the worst things I've ever tried to do is how you say it. It's so hard. But I do have a very, very, very basic understanding of how 3D animation work. You need to have a rig, and these two horses are different sizes, and in Star Stable, that means, and even with horses of the same size, like if they have a different shape. And it's also been said, like all horses or all the models have their own unique rigs. And when you make an animation, then is unless you're doing stuff like motion capture and you have whole big systems in place to then apply those motion capture to multiple rigs through a human sitting and cleaning up like the motion capture, like for example in Red Dead Redemption 2, I think that's how they did it. I'm not an expert at Red Dead Redemption 2 development, or the development of any game that I wasn't a direct part of, and none of those games are on the market, so like they were student games that we made in school. But like, unless you have that type of tech, that big type of company, most games just do unique animations for everything. And when you have two different rigs, trust me when I say that taking an animation that was made for one rig and then putting it on another rig won't just like magically work. You need to put in so much of work to clean it up, to make it work on the other rig, that it's going to take a longer time and require more resources, and it's going to be buggier and more problematic to do that than to just make a new animation from scratch. Trust me, I tried to do this once. It did not save me any time. And you can be like, oh well, the people started about professionals, they can do it. That's the thing though, it's like, it isn't a more professional thing to do. It wasn't just that I was bad at it, I was a noob. It was that, like, when to take, unless you have those whole systems in place, like huge studios like Rockstar can have, which is they do motion capture, they clean up the motion capture and can put it on different rigs for the horses, from my understanding, is that what most games do is that, you know, you have different rigs for different things, and for most part you can't reuse animations because different rigs, it's gonna mess stuff up, things are gonna move in ways it's not supposed to, in angles it's not supposed to, it's gonna look unnatural. And it's to clean that up, to make that work, is a much more complicated and time consuming thing to do than to just make a new animation from scratch. And that's what happened here. It's just like, it's a horse of a little heavier type, but it's not the heaviest, so it's gonna move in the way that a horse of this shape and size is gonna move. And if you have a similar horse of a similar shape and size, it's gonna move in a similar way, but they aren't identical. They can't copy the animations. I have seen this since back in Gen 2 horses. Like, I'm not joking. And for some of those horses, the models were much more similar, so if it happened, it might have happened then, but I still don't think it did. But I remember when, like, the Gen 2 Halflinger came out in like 2017, almost a decade ago, and people were already back then, and back then I didn't know stuff about this, because I wasn't even in high school yet. I didn't know anything about game dev. I just saw people already back then being like, Star Stable is copying animations from this horse to this other horse, and they're so lazy, and blah, 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 blah. And now I spent a year in high school doing game dev stuff. I've spent 3 years at university doing game dev stuff, and I've listened to panels by professionals at game dev conferences, and I've talked to professionals about, like, their work, and I've listened to, like, professionals come and give talks at my school, and I'm not like a world-leading expert. Okay, of course not. But that's not how it works. It's just, and also it's like artist stuff. Obviously, like, an animator is an artist. If you have an animator work on two different horses of similar style, you won't only have always a similar type of horse. So they're gonna have to move similarly. You will also have, it might be the same artist. Who knows what animator did what. Obviously, Naomi's the one who made this horse. I don't know who made the Norker, but she did obviously the model. And in some cases, I don't know how it starts, but some places a 3D artist is gonna do the rigging. Most cases an animator is gonna do the rigging. So Naomi would have made the model and the textures, and then an animator would have done the rig and the animation. So we don't know who the animator is for, or it could have been, it sounded in Yes Northwood, Game Master Yes, her YouTube channel is Yes Northwood, and she does, like, when horses are released, she does, like, interviews with someone on the team who worked with the horse when they released. So this time it was Naomi who's the 3D artist behind this horse, and in that video it kind of sounded like there had been multiple animators working on this horse, and that makes sense. But obviously when an artist makes something, you can usually tell that something is made by the same artists, and obviously, like, the game has an overall art style, and you're supposed to not be able to tell. It's not supposed to be overly clear, like, this thing is made by artist A and other thing is made by artist B, but more like there are gonna be small things here and there where it can be like similarities, maybe because artists, you know, their work, you might be able to tell that something is made by, you know, the same person. But yeah, let's go back and looking at the animation. We have a canter. I feel the same here as with the Norker. I felt it more in Norker, and I do like how it is in the Norker. I don't see it as much in this one, but maybe it's because I don't have a character on. But like kind of when cantering on a little bit of a heavier horse, it kind of is this, like it kind of tips forward, it kind of feels like in the canter sometimes. And it's more like a cradle maybe motion, a cradling motion. Is that how you say it in English? And I like it. It feels realistic, but I don't think it's as noticeable, at least from what I can see here, than on the Norker. But I still like it. And this horse is a little bit smaller than the Norker, as we saw, so maybe like it's a little bit lighter. I don't know. They have a gallop. I've actually never gone this fast on a horse. I'm not a very advanced rider. I've mostly done like driving stuff or like working on the ground with horses majority of my life. And I have ridden obviously a lot too, but it's not my main passion actually with horses to ride. And then we're gonna unlock a hug on level 7. It's gonna be very cuddly. We can't see the actual hug because that's the character. And yeah, that's very cute. But obviously we have all the cute horses. Can we get a cute, nice mane back? They're so fluffy. Obviously the black forest horse only comes in like, is it called like a flaxen chestnut? Is that how you say it? And these kind of like blackish color. I think these are like they come in very few colors at least. But they're very cute and I do love them and I very much want one. And I do know which one I want. I'm gonna get this one, which like the little graying out in the face and on the body that makes her look a little bit older, because this is gonna be a mare. But I'm not sure which mane style I want, because we have so many cute ones. We have this one that's kind of swept over to one side and I really like it. But I really, really, really like the braids. They're chunky. And just look at them. They're so cute. They're big chunky braids. And then we have this one where like it's so much mane they can't see anything, and I've met so many draft horses that are like this. A lot of draft horses are supposed to have very long flowy manes. Shetland ponies too, but we're not talking about ponies today. But yeah, they're supposed to have very long flowy manes, and they often, they kind of look like this, like a little, in Swedish we would refer to this as a forest troll. When you have like this wild, long magic hair, it might be like wavy or a little bit messy from like just wind. We would refer to those horses as forest trolls. It's a very cute term in Swedish. Troll sounds so mean in English, but it's very cute and wholesome in Swedish, I promise. And then we have these options that has the little, like the pine needles, the pine twigs. Or fur, maybe? Yeah, with the pine needles, so cute. And this is like, I want something with the fur, or the pine. I don't know. I'm gonna say pine needles because it's easier for me to say. Because this feels so much like our horses. Whenever they're in a pasture where there are pine trees or fir trees, they will, I lost my train of thought. But whenever they're in a pasture where there are trees with needles, like a pine tree or a fir tree, they will like get all up in the tree. Especially like it's the fir trees. I think they're very tight branching, so they are like good to protect against rain, like in the summer and stuff. So they will like they kind of cram together under the fir trees and like really basically stand inside the tree, and then when they come out they will have like pine needles like tangled in the entire mane, and it just reminds me so much of our horses, because both the bigs and the small ones, they will have pine needles and pine sap everywhere. A little horse care tip here. Okay. Yeah, horse care tip here if you want it. If you also have horses who get all up in the fir trees and get fir sap everywhere, and you're struggling like, how do I get rid of fir sap? Cooking oil. Just buy like food, like cooking oil. Just buy some cheap big bottle at the grocery store, and then you take a sponge and you take a little of the food oil on the sponge, and then you put with the sponge the food, like the cooking oil, on the sap, and then you let it sit for a little bit, like 15-20 minutes. Usually if we take them in from the pasture to like get them ready for like a workout, as long as the sap isn't somewhere where it might chafe, like under the saddle, that's a no-go. Then we have to wait. But if it's like on the butt and we're only gonna train at home, we can, you know, put it on the food oil, and then we can, you know, tack up, we can do the whole lesson, and then we can wipe it off afterwards, because cooking oil will make fir sap, at least the fir sap we have here in Sweden, it's gonna loosen it, so you can just like wipe it down with like a damp towel or like with some water, and it's gonna be gone. It's a great tip. It just takes a little while to sit, and then you wash out the oil. It's a great tip because you can't scrub it away. It's impossible. It's so sticky. So that's a little horse care tip that I don't know who told us or if we figured out on our own. I can't remember. But that's the little tip I have for you. So obviously, yeah. And because it gets hard, obviously, and especially if you get in places like under where the saddle's going to be, you can't put a saddle over it because it can chafe and get very uncomfortable and even like, you know, hurt your horse. So then, you know, you would take the cooking oil, put it on, let it sit for a little bit, wash it off, and then it won't be there, and it's not going to be a problem. It won't be any chafing from it. So it's great tip if you have this problem. I know I met so many people who have this problem, and then I just like, yeah, it's just cheap cooking oil, and they're like, what? And it's like, yeah, it's that easy. Use just average cooking oil that you buy at the grocery store. But we have all the breed specific main styles with fur too. I'm not yet sure exactly what. I think I want something with fur. This one, obviously, normally like the bathroom is supposed to be like decorated with fir or pine. I think it's fir twigs or like pine needles. And obviously with the braids that makes sense, but yeah, it's just so cute and cuddly. I love these braids, I really do. I kind of want these ones. Like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the braids with the fur twigs. I really want the fir twigs, as like it reminds me of my horses. I don't braid fir twigs into the mane because I already have such a struggle to get them out, just because the horses like to decorate themselves with fur year round if they have the ability to, due to all the sap that's also involved. Not the most appreciated, but you know, it does remind me of our real life horses, so I think I'm gonna go with the braids. But we do have all the standard main options too. We did look at some of these obviously earlier to look at the horse, but I think I want to go with the braids because I want to buy more of this braid one day. I feel like I'm only gonna buy one now because I have so many other horses to train. But considering the names I have, I think this is the one that's gonna suit the braids the best. And yeah, personalize and buy. And you're gonna be a senior and you're gonna be a mare, and your name is going to be Agate. Crasher. and her name is going to be Agatha Christie, after the author. And because I've read 2 of her books now, one last fall and one this fall, and I can understand how she's one of the best, like, authors, or like one of the most sold authors in recorded history. Like, I think only like William Shakespeare and the Bible has sold more copies than Agatha Christie. She is an icon. We love her. But I really wanted a horse. I really wanted to name this horse Agatha Christie, and Agatha Crasher is the closest we can get in game, but it's gonna be Agatha Christie, or Agatha. So yeah, we're picking up. It's a little bit late, but as I told you, I've been dog sitting all day. I literally like just got home, changed into like some sweatpants, booted up the PC, and it was like, yeah, time to record. I'm in an outfit too. But yeah, we're going to ride. Oh, I forgot to take off the outfit. Well, I have a horse now at least. This looks so cute. Look at her. Oh, she's even more magical now, especially with the starlight, and oh, yeah, oh, all the pretty pictures I'm gonna take. As I said, I love my chunk horses. Let's look. Yeah, it's not as, like, of a rocking motion. That's the one I was looking for. Like, the Norker, I feel like the canter had more of a rocking motion that was noticeable. This one isn't as heavy, and that rocking motion is something that I feel when I canter on our horses. I feel like that's very typical of draft breeds, or like a little bit lighter draft breeds. I feel like the North Swedish horse falls in like the right in the middle between the lighter draft breeds and the heavier draft breeds, where the North Swedish horse can be a little bit heavier, but not like, it's never going to be like as heavy as an Ardenne. I really don't know how to say that. But it can also be like a lighter draft as well. So I feel like that's kind of the middle ground. But I know we have the clothes here, so let's look at them. We have kind of like a druid said mummel. I know it's called the same thing as Swedish, this set, and I don't know if it's like means mummel. Fun fact, if you don't speak Swedish, mummel, spelled, or mummel, which is spelled like this, it means to mumble, or that something is mumbling. And I don't know if that's like intentional, but it's like a druid set. I think, like, yeah, these are like tight chaps. I don't like the lacing on the sides. I'm not a huge, like, yeah, on this, like, outside of the pant or the chap. I don't think this is for me. I like the shirt the best of this set, I think. Or how does the shoes look? The shoes are pretty cute. I don't enjoy how visible the stitching is on the hat. I don't think it's a cute detail. I don't enjoy it. The only place I would have enjoyed would be in like a Frankenstein clothing set, which obviously we got for Halloween, but yeah. This one though I do kind of like. Don't think I'm ever gonna get it though, but I'd like. We have the layering that we've seen in like other druid tunics. We have like the bottom tunic, or the actual like tunic. It's kind of flowy. We have a green like under vest, and we have a laced up, like leathery looking vest. And I like the lacing of the vest, like how it isn't like tight laced. It's more, you can see it. It's like a bit wider, and how it's tied up. I like how that looks. It looks nice, or I like the details of it. But this is the set I'm excited about. So we have a couple of jeans. We have the cute gloves with the like checkered pattern on them. Very cute. This very tumble coat with the, once again, the like checkered pattern. Maybe we should actually turn on daylight. Not call for pickup. yeah, we have like a little scarf or cravat or something that's tied around the neck. It kind of just looks, if you're Swedish, it kind of looks like a snusnasduk. I don't know what you'd call that in English. It's kind of like a square, like a napkin that like people carry on in their pockets to like wipe their nose or like spit into historically, and then like they usually have some nice pattern or colors like hide that they got dirty because you would not wash them a lot, and it was kind of it was not a fancy thing, but then like because of the interesting patterns, when we stopped using them that way, they could become like fashion things, or when they were clean, obviously. But it looks something like that is tied around the neck. It also looked like we have some like zip up shirt. It's a really nice detail, but this is not what I'm excited about. I'm excited about the hat because it has a little pom pom. Oh, it's it's like it's a knitted beanie with a little pom pom, and I wear pom pom hat. I wear a Star Stable pom pom hat all winter, from the Star Stable's collaboration with Hawks from way back. I'm trying to think, was I in high school or was I even before high school? It's many years ago, but I've had a hat for years, and I love it, and I wear it every winter. It's navy blue. It has like a pink shield that says Star Stable in the front, and then has like a faux fur pom pom. But I'm a big fan of pom pom hats, and we have one in Star Stable now, which I'm so excited about. So I'm gonna buy this. Should I sell something? I can't get enough to buy this though. I just realized. Do I really want to spend star coins on this? But I want it. But we're in Valedale. I have a closet. Let's go grab some stuff to sell. Like, we just need something for 2,000 shillings. And we're gonna be fine. That's a little bit much. Not quite enough. I want to save those for winter though. Okay. I mean, that is... Okay, let's speed it up. Maybe I'm gonna cut this part out. That's 1,000, and that's 1,000, and I'm already using the bank, but shh. To buy something that's permanent, but I really need I need that pom pom hat. I'm building my bank for the winter village, but we have a very important detour prep. I need this for the winter village. It's gonna be cold, you know. So let's just sell that item. Let's sell that item. Let's buy a beanie. I mean, it matches my outfit. My horse doesn't have an outfit, but maybe we will be spending some star coins. But I think I'm gonna spend star coins next week too. Or I know I will, because the H&M horses are showing up, and I have H&M all in, but I don't have H&M Indiana, maybe? I don't know what her name is, and it's Fluff. So they can wear like leg wraps, like protectors then. That's good to know. I really like the like tack items for the druid set. I'm sorry, I need to Can I access the store from out here? I can. Okay. So I think we can be able to see a little bit better. So I really like this shape of saddlebag that we started doing. I think this year. I think the first one was released with like the Crioggio maybe. And I really like these colors, like this green. I didn't like the rest of the set, but wait, is that like pine cones that are hanging from the saddle pad? That is adorable. Oh no, I'm in love. But not to buy now. Oh, I like that we have like rope or like braided reins on this one. That's really like unique. I think we don't have a bridle of this model with braided reins. I think other than like the old English or like old style of bridle, we had like before 2020, the only one we had before then, or yeah, 2020. I think other than those, I only think like bosals and like other western, like where like the rope halters have braided or rope reins. So this is, maybe I'm wrong, but what I can remember. So that's cool. And then we have like this kind of traditional. I don't own a lot of saddles in this model, but I do like it. It's very like traditional, historical looking. It's really cool. But then we have, obviously, just like I said, this is gonna be my favorite. It has the boots with the fur. I'm too tired. That should not be funny. We have a checkered saddle pad, and I'm in love. I'm in love. And like, it's also a shape of saddle pad. Obviously, it is the same model of saddle pad that as like there's the dressage saddle pad, I would assume, but they've I guess they're using like alpha channels or something to make it look like a different shape, or you know, it's whatever. It's using an existing model. It's not a new like model of item, but they can like modify it to look different ways. They've talked about it. It's like the universal saddle pad or something, but it looks great. And oh, I love it. And then we have the best. We have fluff and fluff. We're getting more and more saddles with fluff again. Obviously, we got the jumping saddles last winter with the fluff like pad on top, and like back in the day we had like in the old models we had so many saddles with fluff, and then like with so long we didn't have any fluff saddles, but now we do. And I'm so happy. We also have the noseband, I think it's called in English. Agatha, thank you. It has like fluff on it too. It's so good. It's so pretty. And I kind of want to buy it all, but I need to save my star coins. But I really want to buy this saddle pad, but I don't want to spend a whole week's allowance on just one saddle pad. So I think I'm actually gonna leave it here, but like you can like it would go well with the outfit too I'm wearing, like because like the brown tones on the saddle pad, it kind of like, even though it's kind of a greenish brown tone on my pants, it kind of goes together, especially since there are like red tones in my socks and that matches the red in the hat. And then it's not the same tone, but I have a little red ribbon around my neck of the character, so like it looks so good together. I'm so happy. I need to buy this sometime. I need to remember when I have max shillings where to do my shopping. But yeah, or should I just do some basic care to get Agatha to level 2 so we can just look at all her gates? Like, oh, we got a look at the rear. It was very cute. Oh yeah, because we couldn't see that obviously in the window, in shopping window. Yeah, it's a really nice one because I kind of like when they kick with the legs, but this also wasn't like if you look at some of the N2 horses, they kind of like almost topple over because they go so high up and like so long. It's still realistic, you know, they're like kicking with their legs. I do really like that, because obviously this is quite a heavy horse. But oh, maybe we shouldn't go here around the lights. Where should we go to? Maybe I should just call for a pickup, you know. We have arenas at home. It sounds like the meme about the mom, like, we have McDonald's at home. But I'm like, we have arenas at home. We don't need to use the Druid paddock. We have home paddock and riding hall. Should we go into the riding hall? I mean, we're in November, it's the colder season. I was freezing my hands off today when I was going on my walks with Jupiter, which is one of Bella's dogs. Let's go in here and let's do riding club members only. I hope I'm not disturbing those people, but I hope they can also, you know, hide me. So we have the walk. As I was saying, it's very, like, it's very steady, and that's one of the things I really like about draft breeds. They feel like very sturdy, steady horses. I like myself a working horse, you know, and it's just calm. It's what we in Swedish would call lunk or lunka, which is, it's just a calm walk. It's not very fast, but it also isn't overly slow, and just, you know, going at a nice pace. And, you know, it's nothing fancy, but it isn't sloppy either. It's really nice, really solid. I really like it. And obviously we've already talked about the trot. With like, I really like the rhythm, and it isn't anything fancy, but it is how horses of this like size, obviously this is quite small for a draft breed, but it is like what horses of this like mass and shape, kind of how they trot, and it makes sense. It looks realistic. It is what I would expect, and I do really like it. Followed by the canter. We have a little bit more of rocking motion, I feel like, now than we could see before, but I still feel like it's not as pronounced as on the Noriker, but obviously Noriker is a little bit bigger, it's going to be a little bit heavier, it will have a little bit more of a rocking motion. Obviously we get the rocking motion in canter on a lot of horses, it's not just a draft thing, but it kind of feels like I haven't cantered a lot on horses that aren't drafts, but when I have, it doesn't feel like when a draft does, it kind of feels more like a rocking motion of it kind of not tipping forward, but I don't know, if you've ever been in a rocking chair, you might have felt like, you know, it goes back and forth, and it kind of, it's, you know, it's the momentum of, you know, just something in motion, and it has that rocking motion that it did really feel in my experience in another way on a draft horse, and I really enjoy it. It looks really nice, and I really like the mane. It's a little bit of clipping, but with such long mane, honestly, it doesn't bother me. I have to really think about it, and if there weren't any clipping, I think that this movement would look kind of weird. And I do like that the mane is properly animated. It would look very stiff otherwise, and this just, like, it still looks believable, and that's what I'm looking for. Then we're going to the gallop, and I like we are the horse is stretching out a little bit still, and you know, getting some force and strength behind the steps and the strides, and the stretching a little bit. Maybe that's what I said. I can't remember what I'm saying. It's late. I'm tired. But yeah, it's working. It's going well. It's once again, like, really like the rhythm. And then we speed it up. Now we're really running, really stretching, trying to cover as much ground as possible, and it just feels really nice. And obviously we can make that one same animation just go faster, and that's still really, really nice. Should we look at animations we can't see in the shopping window? Obviously we have already looked at the rear, but I do really like it. And now we're on as well. The horse doesn't get up very far, and then it kind of feels, you can feel it when it gets down, that, it's a little bit, it feels heavy and fast, and it is a bit of a heavy horse, so it makes sense. And also with it not like rearing as high, it is heavier, it takes a lot more energy for them to get back up on their rear legs, because they are heavier, and therefore they usually don't rear as tall, or not as tall, but they don't, and then they go down again. I like it, it's nice. Right, we can also, back up, and that's a game I haven't looked at. I do really like this. It's collected, it is like doing what it's supposed to. It's not turning around, which I like, but it kind of looks like I heard someone else say it. I've watched multiple videos and live streams of people today buying this horse. I can't remember who said it, but it kind of looks like the horse is like attentive to you as the rider, kind of with the horse's head turned, but it isn't, not like the Gen 2 English Thoroughbred, like turned their entire head around and looked backwards, which is not what horses do in my experience. Horses have pretty good vision, not straight backwards, but still can see, in a pretty wide angle, so just turning this little is still gonna give them really good view of like where they're going when they're backing up. So I really like this. Once again, it's collected, it's nice. Should we do like the big full stop one? We have to go pretty fast for that one, right? Okay, let's look. Oh, and it's kind of like, it isn't abrupt and it isn't a sliding stop because it isn't a Western breed, so yeah, it kind of just, how do you say it in English? It takes like a couple of steps for the like horse's momentum to brake. It takes like an extra little bunny jump almost to get rid of the momentum to help brake. It's like we try to make a full stop, we have too much momentum, so it gets a little extra, just boing, and I like that. It's really nice. It's not the first breed to do that, but I like when I do it for breeds where like a sliding stop doesn't make sense, and especially if you have a heavier horse. Obviously when you go higher speeds and try to brake, the higher the mass, the more it's gonna be like harder to do a like instant stop. You're gonna have like the momentum pushing forward because of just the sheer weight of your horse, so especially makes sense on these heavier horse breeds. What other animations do we have? We've done the rear, we've done the full stop. Obviously Agatha here is not high enough level to do the special animation. So no, I don't think we have anything else now, do we? So we can pet. Oh, and she like perked her ears up. This is gonna be adorable to take photos of. I'm so excited. It's so cute. Yeah, I'm an appreciator of draft breeds and magical horses. That's always something that's gonna make me like happy to see in game, and even more so like with the Luna Moth horse, where we got a magic draft. I just love my chunky horses. Okay, I'm a chunky horse lover. So this obviously made me very, very happy. But yeah, I don't think, is there anything else to look at? We looked at all the gates, we looked at all the animations we can. Yeah, I think this is it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please consider leaving a like if you enjoyed it, and consider, leaving me a little comment. Tell me your thoughts about the Black Forest horse, and, have you bought one? Are you going to buy one? And in case you answer yes to those questions, which one I want to get more in the future. I just have to, constrain myself. I have over 40 horses to train, I'm pretty sure. I counted them a couple of days ago. So I can't just be out here buying every cute horse in the game, because then I would have hundreds of horses to train. That would drive me insane. So, but I want to get more of them. So tell me, which ones are the ones you like, or maybe you don't like them at all. Maybe you don't like draft breeds. Maybe, you want that lighter breed. But I'm a draft breed lover, and I'm very excited about this. So, let me know about the draft breed. If you are new here, and if this was your first video with me, and I didn't scare you away with my ramblings about anything and everything, honestly, I was quite on track for myself, or for being me in this video, but I had some side notes. So if I didn't scare you away and you thought this was enjoyable, please consider subscribing. That always makes me very, very happy when I see people do, because it feels crazy that people want to stick around and see more of me. But I post videos every Tuesday and every Friday. I do a lot of Star Stable videos. It's the primary thing on my channel, but I occasionally do something else. I've done a little bit of Sims in the past, and I have some other horse games I want to try in the future. I just haven't gotten around to it. So, you get a little bit of other things as well, but it's primarily Star Stable. So if that sounds interesting, please consider subscribing. Also, while you're here, if you aren't already, please consider following me on Instagram. I am Kajsa Dragonroad there too, and it is linked down below in my description box if you want to go follow me there. I post Star Stable photos, an occasional reel, very rarely, but sometimes you get reels, mostly photos. But you also get my stories, where I will do everything from repost other people's stuff to, post days in my life or photos of my real life pets, my horses, my cat. You got today when I'm recording this, not today when you're seeing it, because it's gonna be, you're seeing this on Friday, the earliest. I'm recording on Wednesday, but I put videos of when I was, out on walks with the dog I was dog sitting, Jupiter. So, you get to see other people's pets too. If that sounds interesting, please consider following me on Instagram. I very much appreciate that too. So once again, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoy it, and I guess I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye!